Hi, and welcome to my class. My name is Rachel Smith, and I have been teaching this Instructional Graphics Production 1 class for a couple of semesters now, and it's kind of developed into a ever-growing entity that I just can't seem to quit tweaking, and it's been a lot of fun and I've learned a lot from it. But anyway, this is just kind of an introduction to you to the website, how you can find your materials and the lessons, and some of the help resources that are ready and available for you. So here's the website. It's rsmithphotoshop1.weebly.com, which you should already be on. And I'm just going to go through kind of the basic pages and tell you where stuff is. On our home page, you have a navigation bar up at the top. Each one of these is a button on its own right, and if there are subcategories beneath it, they'll show up down here. The things that you'll be learning in this course are listed quite briefly, and it goes over the required software. I will be using Photoshop CS6 to teach this course with, and that is currently what all of the tutorials have been created in. Photoshop goes through kind of a major change only once every great while, so the updates that have happened since CS6 haven't changed the look of the program or where any of the major tools are, so you can really use CS6 or anything up to the current, which I believe is still Creative Cloud 2014. CS6 was available to purchase as a box set. Everything newer is subscription based, where you pay on a monthly basis for access to one or more of the Adobe programs. If you're a student, I know you can get the Photoshop, I believe it's the photographer's package, for $9.99 a month, and that may even be available to you if you're not a student, but for sure I know it's available as a student. A couple of resources that you are certainly not required to have, but that I highly recommend, is Photoshop CS6 The Missing Manual. This is updated for each version, so there's actually one for Photoshop Creative Cloud for Creative Cloud 2014. This is by Lisa Snyder, and she does a really excellent job at talking just the average Joe person through using the basic tools of Photoshop. And it's a very thorough reference manual. I would highly suggest getting it if you're that sort of person. The other thing you might want to take a look at is a book called The Non-Designer's Design Book by Robin Williams. And this author really super simplifies the rules of design so that anybody can understand them and teaches it from a ground zero level. At the bottom of this page, you'll see a small gallery with just a couple examples of previous work from students, so you could get an idea a little bit of what to expect to build while you're in this course. Definitely some typography, we do some photo adjustment, and on and on. So that's the main page. If you are a student from USU, which currently most of the people using this website are, this is your introduction, and I would appreciate it if you would read your way down. How to approach this course really sums up and gets your expectations into line. So I'd like you to read through that and at least be familiar with it. And then I also have kind of a syllabus highlights. We all know that syllabus have all this material that has to be included, and we're sick of seeing it. We've seen it a gazillion times. So this is the highlights of stuff that is very specific to my class, and then there is a copy of the full syllabus that you can click and download here. If you are one of my 6230 grad students, there is a requirement that I have a grad project essentially to qualify for the grad credit. And the last semester it was a paper that was kind of a feedback paper. So it was just responding to a couple dozen questions about how this course went and getting your feedback so that I can continue to improve it in the future. The next page over is lessons, and you'll notice there is an extra credit under here. We'll get to that in a minute. If you click on lessons, there will be a page that lists out the schedule, and they're listed by lesson. You'll notice there's a bar here that says complete and ready to roll and still working on it. The ones listed above that are completely ready. They're complete with video tutorials and links, and also the USU Canvas stuff that if you're a USU student you'll be able to access, and everything below that is up for change. It probably won't change drastically, but I do know as of right now I'm still rearranging a few things and including a couple different lessons. Originally there was quite a large final project, and I'm going to reduce that a little bit this time around so that we can fit in a couple more lessons of different things as well. Down at the bottom for my USU students, I have an explanation about submitting assignments, and that also includes, if you're not able to use Canvas, that you can use the USU's big file transfer service. Now, if you're not a USU student, you can use any other file transfer service to send me a file if you'd like me to look at it. Any of these links will take you to that lesson. To begin with, there is a lesson 0, which essentially gets you set up for the rest of the course. By going through this material, you'll be sure to have the right software. If you are a PC user, you'll be able to understand what I mean when I tell you to hit Command C to copy something, because I will be teaching from a Mac or an Apple iOS X software platform, and there are some differences between the two. They're actually, overall, they're really similar. I've worked on both, and I know it can drive people absolutely bonkers to work on one and then have to switch to the other. So this is here to help reduce any confusion on your part. If you're one of my USU students, you may have access to a computer lab on USU's campus. I know for sure that all of the Adobe software that you will need is installed on the computers in the YETC, which I believe stands for Waddell Educational nope, I don't know what it means anymore. YETC. Anyway, it's a resource center lab on the main floor of the education building, the Jones Education Building on campus, and I know that all the software is installed on those computers, and there is Mac and PC, so whichever you are comfortable working with. There are videos that I have included throughout the course, and sometimes they're links to a YouTube video that somebody else has created, and sometimes it's a link to a YouTube video that I have created. Either way, it'll be indicated by this graphic with a little play sign, as well as a link and the indicator of how much time that video is going to take. Frequently, you'll come across icons that say download something. Each lesson will come with lesson notes, and if you click on that, you will have the notes for that lesson. Now, when I say notes, it's not actually the question and the answer for anything that'll happen. It's actually the questions, and you can just go through the material and answer them. But for my USU students, anytime I do a quiz or a test or final, all of those questions, or most of those questions, will be pulled directly from those lesson notes. So it's to your benefit to download them and to fill them out as you go through the lesson material. So that's the beginning lesson. At the end of each lesson for my USU students, there will be either a quiz or a reflection assignment. The quiz is on Canvas. Reflection assignment will have, again, a download icon, and it will just be you answering 4 or 5 questions to help me understand how you're doing in the course, to settle any concerns quickly, and also so you can give me feedback if there was material that I could have made simpler or ironed out or should have added more to, so that in the future this can be an even better experience for more students. All of the lessons are here, so that we just went over briefly lesson 0, and then lesson 1 is actually where this intro will be housed. You do have some pretty awesome resources on this website that I've just been collecting over a few years. There are resources in general by clicking on this top button, and then specific pages as we go down. So I'm going to click on the resources in general. These are links each to a page, so all of my resources on color I've tried to organize here. I will tell you that I can't swear that all of these links are still good. They have been around for a little while, and there may be one or two that don't actually link up to anything anymore. If you happen to come across a link that does no longer work, what I'd like you to do is take a screen capture of it and shoot it my way with a note that, you know, this doesn't work anymore. On a Mac, you can do a screen capture really easily by holding Command, Shift, and pushing 4, which will turn your icon into little crosshairs, and then you can simply click and drag, and it will take a picture and save the file to your desktop. On a PC, I believe there is a button that says Screen Capture that you can push, and then you'd have to paste that into a Word document or a Photoshop document to save it and send. Also, if you come across a really cool resource you think would work well on one of these pages, feel free to shoot that to me as well. I'm always expanding my resources. So I'm going to click back here on resources and buzz down to the very bottom, and one I would like you to particularly pay a little bit of attention to. There's one called Wellness Tips. And if you click on that, it gives a little bit of an introduction of why I even have this page. I have worked as a graphic designer for over a decade now, which is a lot of sitting at a computer time. And there have been so many studies in the last few years that have proved that sitting is just about the worst thing you can do all day. So there are links to various resources of how to set up your computer so that it is ergonomically efficient and safer for you. There are also links to videos and resources of how to stretch and how to focus on problem areas that might ache or hurt a little bit more. My disclaimer is I have tried to find resources that seem legit and that the people are educated and knowledgeable about what they're talking about. But I can't swear to it, so please use your own discretion, and if you already have pre-existing medical conditions, talk to someone that knows what they're talking about for sure before you embark on anything drastic. I can tell you my personal experience has been that I've lost a lot of the curvature in my back and neck, and have had upper lower back problems and neck problems and just on and on and on. So I work on those with stretches and exercising and a fairly regular visit to a chiropractor. So please go through the wellness tips. If you've never encountered this before, I hope it will serve you in other areas. Just our generation, we spend so much time sitting, and it's stuff that we really do need to be aware of. In this class, you'll be working primarily with Photoshop as the main tool, and we'll be making all sorts of stuff, and Photoshop will be what we're using. So you're going to run into some problems occasionally. It's just going to happen. I've included kind of the top 10 or so things that I run into with Photoshop, and especially when I'm helping beginners, and included them here. You can look down through this. Usually I've tried to say start with the most obvious, and you can try one thing down, and then if that doesn't work, try the next thing. Also in Photoshop, and I'll open this up real quick to show you, there is a pretty good help menu. Up here at the top there's a help menu. If you click on it, you can start typing something, and of course I'd pick something that wouldn't be found. The top couple of results will show you things that are in the menus, and as you can see I'm scrolling over those and it's showing me where they are in the menus. But underneath that there's help topics, so if I click on that it will actually open up the help center, which will give you more specific things. And then obviously there's a large network out on the internet that is there to help you, and if you really truly get stuck and your computer is threatening to explode on you, take it down to a professional at a computer help store or something and get some real help for what you need. The last link are my student galleries. Now this is not up to date. The only one I actually have on here currently is the Fall 2014 Student Gallery, and I will be updating this soon to have the 2013 and then 2015 as we begin. but it begins with the first project that we end up doing on lesson 2, which is a Wordle. So you can start at the top and go towards the bottom and see how your skills could potentially advance over the course of this 16-week course. That sounded stupid, but anyway, over the next 16 weeks. We do a lot of image adjusting, and I can tell you this too, these were the projects as the course existed last semester, so the final project is not going to be exactly the same, and a couple others might vary a little bit, but it gives you kind of an idea of where we're headed. If you want to know a little bit more about me, there is a little about the instructor, so that's me. And I currently live in Logan at the very moment, but I'm actually moving for a while to St. George and will be teaching this online class from a distance. And I have done graphic design for over 10 years. I work for a yearbook company doing yearbook design, and I'm an illustrator. I'm hoping to work on and finish a book that I've been having on the back burner for a while. But that's pretty much it in a nutshell. If you're interested in anything more, it's obviously there. What's underneath the basic stuff is what I call my Photoshop and awareness speech. And as we get into editing photos, I will definitely come back to this. Photoshop, as you know, has become kind of the word when you want to change a picture, oh, that needs to be photoshopped, or I'm going to Photoshop off that zit or whatever. And I have a whole philosophy involving that, but we'll get to that another time. You are welcome to contact me by email at any time. My USU students, it's best to do that through Canvas because that keeps a fairly intact record of our conversations. And I'm also available by phone during my hours if you care to call, but mostly email would probably be the best way to get a hold of me. Anyways, I wish you luck, and certainly feel free to contact me with any help questions that you have, and I will do my best to help you out. It will be my pleasure teaching you.